That's great though. I don't know. How was your, how would I say that? How was your aha moment in trading? Because it's only recently that I've been kind of like profitable. I'd say about 3 months, really.
Right.
Um, and like I don't know, it just clicked where it's like, whoa, that's exactly what I have to do. But I still have times where I'm like, wait, like, am I supposed to be taking this trade like that? Like confusion or whatnot. So how was that for you?
I think the aha moment was after I blew those accounts and took a step back. Came up with a mechanical process. I read that book, Best Loser Wins, and that's why I have this up here: Win Well, Lose Better, because I figured out it's not about winning; it's about consistency and precision. If I focus on winning, there's a lot of times I'm not going to win, and it's going to cause me problems if I struggle with that emotionally. So getting more mechanical now, my emotions aren't as tied to the win or the loss. It's about just, do I follow my rules? Do I do my steps? Do my prep? And if I do all that, the rest is just sort of takes care of itself. So for me, that was to learn how to trade without fearing the losses. And the way I do that is by creating a scenario where I'm not really responsible. It's, here's my rules. If I follow them, and anybody in here can tell me that this is irresponsible, bad trader, subjective, the very little subjectivity in the displacement, um, you know, I nail down as much as I can by saying I have to have a body close over my swing. I won't take a wick. So that's there's not even subjectivity in that. And I guess that just makes it easier because it's the losses that threw me on tilt. It was the losses that gave me trouble. So being able to manage those, I think, was when I was like, oh, okay, this works a lot better. Now I don't have any guilt. I don't feel bad. I didn't screw nothing up. It just didn't work. you know, there's going to be lots of trades that don't work. So if you can figure out a way to be okay with that, then you don't revenge trade. Then you don't, take substandard, lower probability trades. There's just a lot that goes into that mindset. I think that's beneficial.
Yeah, if you definitely don't pay too much attention to the losses, and it's a whole thing with the universe. I kind of believe in the whole you're attracting that to yourself type of thing. But for sure, if you focus so much on the losses, it can, especially me. Like I've been trading ICT for like I'd say like a solid year and a half, and at first I'd have some really good winners, but the second I lose, I want to make the loss back, and then guess what? I end up losing more and more and more and more and
Yep,
more.
yep, yep, yep.
So it's like it's it definitely pulled me back a year, pushed me back a whole year just to learn that, it's okay to get some to, you take some losses,
Yeah.
a couple of punches, just get up, next day, just trade again,
If you do it
so it's
right,
just, it took me a year to learn that. Like,
yeah.
it's stupid,
Well,
but
everybody gets their experience in different levels at different times. I think you get it as you need it. I mean, a lot of this stuff I wouldn't have been ready for, 6 months ago. I didn't even barely know what liquidity was. So the more we get into it, the more we see areas for improvement. And I think it's a progress, not perfection, kind of a step by step. Your failures are just your stepping stones to eventual success. That's every time I fail at something, I journal it, I get in, I make a lesson list. I do whatever I can. I put notes up here. Where'd my notes go? Yeah, eventually my lesson list will go up here too. Right now I just have my setups and, one thing at a time. So I saw Addie's comment, unclear what price. What is that? Got to shut you off, candle power. Shannon, you're coming through there like you're blowing a horn or something. What's that? Yeah, you sound funny. Uh,
he probably has another 2 minutes of this because he probably skipped like 5 minutes ago.
oh, really? I didn't even notice.
You know,
That's the first time I heard it. Or I'll maybe. I know him. He's a friend of mine from years ago. We used to work together in IT. So he won't mind. He'll understand. Um, I saw someone talking about the price action right now, and I agree. It's not doing anything. But this is really great because one of my favorite sayings is the tighter the spring, the bigger the move. So all this winding up, generating liquidity will set something up for maybe, a good move one way and then back is what we're hoping for. And, you know, I've said in streams a lot, and a lot of times I repeat stuff because I see so many new people, and I know this isn't something they've probably heard before. So if you see me repeating stuff, that's why. If you're in here all the time, but um, I've said before that I don't think the market could do this or that, and was just totally floored. So now, who else? I'm gonna find a way to like mute everybody when we start, and then maybe if I know there's a couple people that are gonna talk, I'm gonna interact with, I'll turn them on. Otherwise, it'll have to be through the chat. Um, I lost my
Yeah.
train of thought.
I wish they had something like Zoom where you raise your hand up and then you could
They have
put
that.
the person
They have that
thing.
here. It's something to do with stages. I just haven't activated it yet. Yeah, it has that.
Oh,
That
I
it has that feature. I might look into that. That maybe that's better for this kind of
right.
environment. As I know it's distracting. Would you wait for a sweep of the lows before you take a long? Um,
Yeah.
I would. I would like to see that, but like right here, if you'd have waited for the sweep, you would have missed the long. If it would have been, on a lower time frame, this is on the 5 minute. If I looked at the minute, there might be something there. Yeah, right here. Break the structure, fair value gap. Add a tick. Would that get it? Yep. My fair value gap plus one tick is right there, and that's why I do it because of this right here. 25.50. That gets me in if I add one tick to my fair value gap. If you do that, it'll pay for itself 10 times over. But so sometimes when it comes down, there's order blocks, there's other fair value gaps, there's things like that. And sometimes I expect this failed swing. Um, Sometimes it'll punch down again, sometimes it won't. But if I get the criteria that I'm looking for, it tells me it's probably not going to be a punch down. Then yeah, I would still consider this in play for all the way up. It doesn't have to take liquidity again. It does often, but it doesn't always. So, and I know because I've taken this initial punch right here, went long, had it come back to within a tick or two. That's why I go two ticks below the swing. I've even had it come even and take off. It didn't actually take it. So whatever algorithmic principle is in play there, I don't know. But uh, if you get the displacement and everything else, yeah, it's a good trade. You're already way down here. You could get a lot of consolidation and messing around. Maybe it punches through, maybe it doesn't. Um, it's never going to do anything 100% of the time. And I say this all the time also. And the reason is because we would figure it out and we'd exploit it. Right? Anything we found that happened always that we could count on for a trade, yeah, we'd figure it out. Somebody would. Thoughts on sell limit at 43.98. 43.98. Targeting 43.93.25. Um, well, sort of an inverse fair value gap. It's been closed, traded through. I don't know. I wouldn't. I mean, but that's doesn't make it right or wrong. It's just not part of my thinking process yet to take that short from here. Now, if it came up, I took a short earlier on a retracement, but the monthly low hadn't been taken yet. I think it was up in here somewhere. I think it was up in here. Anyway, it came way up into OTE area, and I went short and carried it down here a ways. But I wouldn't take it this low. This is sort of like going against the whole premium discount um,
Yeah, exactly. I was just about to
array.
say that.
You're banking on it going low, and you really don't have a reason to. We've already taken a massive
Yeah.
amount of liquidity, so you're counting on something that's lower probability, not necessarily impossible, because there's liquidity here, and we could get a push down, take this liquidity. So it's not unheard of, but it would just be a little risky for me.
Yeah, I was
Says
kind of.
he's been short on NQ since 15,000. Right on.
That's crazy. I was kind of hoping for the New York New York. a.m. highs to be like kind of like taken for us to go short
Right.
because like this morning, for example, like with my mechanical rules and what I have written down on my journal is I want like a weekly low, monthly low, daily low to be taken. Then I go to the opposite side. So I don't really take continuation trades, right? So
Right.
like you've been shorting it since 15,000.
Right.
I've been trying to buy it since then. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But the thing
Everybody's
is,
got
if you take
a different approach.
trade, yeah, right. If I'm taking it on a continuation trade, I would want it to come up to at least equilibrium.
Yeah, that's
Then I
right.
would look for a fair value gap or something like that on the way back down.
Right.
You know, so like this morning, I wanted to take some shorts, but I didn't get the opportunity to.
Right.
Even now, I kind of want to buy it, but since I've been getting slapped, I'm
Right.
like, okay, might as well just take sales. You know?
Right. Yep. In the long run, that's what you got to do. But if you fib this whole price leg, 50% OTE takes out New York AM. So it could do
Yeah.
that without technically, being a ridiculous move. It'd be a big retracement on a big leg, but it's only on a 5 minute chart. If we dip back to like the hour, it's hard for me to tell where the New York 44, 18, 19 ish. So right to around here somewhere.
Hmm.
Wouldn't be ridiculous when you look at
No,
it on
at
this
all.
time frame, right? It might take a while because we're on the hour. I can't see it getting up there right away, but we still got an hour and a half. And like I said, I don't say that can't happen anymore because I've been just drilled by seeing it do exactly what I said it's not going to do. Oh, I see you,
And
Shannon.
especially,
Shannon,
especially,
he was saying that we learn nothing. We learn nothing from 100% success. Your growth will almost always come from failure. Yeah, very true. And if you're never losing, you're never having a reason to evaluate, or if you're never failing. If we were never losing, I wouldn't need to evaluate, but you know what I mean.
yeah. I mean, I
Um,
can. I definitely like to ask your opinion. How do you approach continuations? I think that's one thing I'm currently learning because I'm such a reversal trader. I don't really take continuations much
right.
unless, like I mentioned, up to equilibrium. But a lot of times it does not come up to equilibrium.
Okay.
It'll just come to the near like displacement leg or something like that. So how do you approach continuations, continuation
Hang
trades?
on just a second because this is getting interesting here. So that short that you were talking about taking, that would have played out just fine and dandy, right? There's
Yeah,
liquidity
yeah,
here. Made one more punch down. So that's why I say nothing's really off the table. This thing, you can, uh, there's ways to work it that are just, too many to count. And I think you got to go with the probabilities, I think. Um, I would trust the long here more than I would short just because of the, um, like the premium discount and the seeking for the buy side liquidity. But if you took this and you won, more power to you. Continuations, I trade them like reverse silver bullets. I use almost the same criteria. I just call it an advanced entry, and I call the other the classic silver bullet. But the advanced entry is just basically everything in reverse. So my break of structure is on a strong move up. Get a break of structure, fair value gap, retest, and then I'll take it up. And if you're sure about the move, like you get something like this on the 1 minute or this on the five. Now, granted, it only went up this far, but I'm only looking for five handles either way. So um, if I get that criteria and that kind of energy and displacement, and I'm still relatively, I don't even have to be in discount. Honestly, I'll take that in premium, just like up here maybe. This probably happened in premium. Took this liquidity right here, right? If I would have got in on that fair value gap at '03, I'd almost hit my '08. I would have still got almost. I would have got my partial for sure and almost five. So, and it'll carry itself up as long as you're getting energy, breakage structure, and a fair value gap. I say it's a move, man. It's a setup. You'll win them until the one that finally fails at the top, basically. If it's respecting them on the way up, and you see that, that's the best way I know to do it.
yeah. I think the only thing is I follow the premium and discount areas on the daily time frame so much that when it's too low or it's too high, I'm not going to keep buying it or keep selling it, if
Yeah,
it's
but
not in premium or discount.
how's that working out for you?
That's the thing. It hasn't, like, especially with the freaking that
Right.
like
No,
sell
you
off.
get these
Not
huge
able.
runs that you have to just watch, and you're like, man, I wish I could
Yeah,
get in here somewhere, you know.
yeah.
Um,
And I'm caught up trying to buy it. But I mean,
right.
I don't lose much. I just break even a lot of times, which is great.
Yeah.
I don't lose a lot.
But are
But
you?
it's like it's a no. I always miss these moves.
Yeah, I know. Are you buying on specific criteria? Like, are you
Yeah.
waiting for the breakage structure and everything, and
Yes. So with
you're
my
just getting faked out real strong.
yeah.
If it's
So with
giving
my
you,
strategy is just
go ahead.
it's just the daily time frame being taken or the weekly time frame, the daily liquidity or weekly liquidity, or even this monthly liquidity, right? It
Yeah.
got taken, and then I'm looking for a 1 minute fair value gap and I enter. So a lot of times I'll get my 1 to 1 and just break even right away.
All right.
So then I'll just just get taken out.
All right. Yeah. Well, it's definitely the safest to play the reversals. I think because you never know when that continuation is going to end. But I don't know. There's not many times when it reverses and shows me everything I want to see and then comes right back on me. I'm always expecting to get at least a partial out of it. Because you just that's a lot of confluence. The combination of the breakage structure, the fair value gap, the displacement, the liquidity sweep. Any one of those by itself is not a factor, but when you put all four of them together, and you're looking at market structure and trend, if you're trying to go short, you're in a on several time frames, you're safe everywhere there, and then you get everything else you want. I don't see how you can pass that trade up.
Yeah. So I just gotta practice, I guess, the continuations because that's the only thing I don't know. I haven't been trading, I guess.
Yeah, it's just like anything else. You got to do it and do it, and then it gets easier and easier. And it does. I mean, I don't know. I back tested enough of these. I used to just back test every break structure fair value gap combination. I didn't care anything where it was, premium, discount, all the way up, all the way down. And you know what? I might be able to show you that.
Yeah, I think I know exactly what you're talking about because you know what's funny though? It. So I have a friend that literally just started trading ICT. I introduced ICT to him about 3 days ago, and in less than the 24 hours, he was trying to tell me how to enter the markets myself, right? Because
I know you have.
I didn't know how to feel about it because I wasn't mad or anything like that, but I was like, bro, I've been doing this for 2 years, a year and a half. What are you
Right.
talking about? But he's not losing though. He's taking
Oh, that's I
yeah,
guess
he's taking
that makes
every
it
market
better.
structure to put a break with the fair value gap. It doesn't even matter where it is, premium type, premium discount area. It doesn't matter. He just takes it and it
Here's
works. So then I can't tell him, oh, this is not working,
no, you
or
can't.
this is not the way for you to do it. It's
Right.
working, So I'm like,
Here's my example. We back tested this in Discord, and we kept track as we were going. This is one New York session, I believe. Yeah, 9:30 open to 4 o'clock, and every time we got a break of structure, fair value gap, displacement, whatever, I took a trade, and we had 21 trades, 13 wins, 2 losses, 6 break evens, and 67 points just in the New York session. So
wow,
I
that's crazy.
mean, that's when I say, I'll take it until it stops. Here's one, here's two, here's three. So I would have been 3-1. I think the red one's a loss. Yeah, probably if I took it this high. Yeah, 2 losses. So one there and one there, and the rest are all up, 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 up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you catch one of these days, and you can take a couple losses. So it definitely there's something to it. Um, yeah, and that's kind of where this came from, is that, and the other back testing I showed you.
Yeah, that's I don't know. The way I look at it, this whole market structure shift with like the whole shebang is like a bank. Because once you know how to do this, bro, it's
Yeah,
crazy what you can do with it. Two
it's
losses, my goodness.
I tell people it's like someone put an ATM in my living room and they told me I got to find the code. Well, 0001, 0002, 0003. There's only 9,999 combinations before I get that pin, and then it's on. So that's the way I look at. That's the way I approach trading. I got an ATM right here. Well, I hope I do. Well, time will tell whether or not I get the code. But on that back test, if you had multiple fair value gaps on the same leg, how did you stack them? I think I was just taking the first one. Honestly, I don't remember enough about it to say, but it didn't seem like something we were struggling with. So, if you're bullish like that or bear in a real trend like that, each fair value gap it's getting respected. You're not getting a lot of pullback where it's closing out the fair value gap. So, and with that kind of momentum, you really can't wait for the second one. And if you get two that are close enough together, you just lop your stop under both of them, and that way you're covered. I believe that was on the minute time frame, Jesse. That's yeah. Well, it definitely was. I don't trade. I mean, I'll trade off the 5 minute and I'll use it for strong confluence, but I've always got them both open anyway. I like to see a 5 minute 5 minute fair value gap. All right, so we're waiting for reversal right now, big time. So I think I'm going to do what I normally do. Everything's mechanical. I'm going to put my swing marker on the place that I need. I need a different color. I can tell right now. I like that color. No, no. Purple. Yeah. But solid. Okay. All right, so displacement and a candle close above this line is what I need, and it needs to be a good move. I don't like it when there's a fair value gap right in the place where I need my displacement to happen, so hopefully we drop down and create another swing like this one. I can pull it down a little bit. Once this candle closes, if it doesn't top this, then I'll have a new spot for a swing. And I don't know if everybody's in here from today that was in here earlier, but ICT Crack and I will trade this a little bit differently. I'll take any kind of breaker structure, just a small swing, and he prefers something a little more substantial. So his is probably going to be higher probability, but I feel like I get more trades, and since it's a high strike rate, I'm okay with the losses that I might get from that. So I miss too many trades if I wait for it to come all the way back up here. But again, that's higher probability. So it kind of evens out, I think. They're both really good models.
Yeah, that's kind of like the exact same thing I'm kind of going through right now. Because I don't know if I want to, because you see how there's this fair value gap right there, right? But your entry's a little bit lower than it. I wouldn't want it to come tapping that and come back down, if you
Well,
get what I mean. So
here's
I would kind of put it like him. Uh-huh.
well, here's what I found out about that. When I back tested, it didn't matter if you get the criteria outweigh any levels or PDA arrays you're going to deal with, because we already know if price wants to go up here, it's cutting through every single one of these, and it's going to come right up here. So I was forming a false bias a lot of times and trying to decide how much was too much, how far is too far, and I said, you know what, see trade, take trade. All I'm responsible for is these criteria being met, and I can't worry about what the road looks like ahead. It's just, because I'm going to expect it to crush all of this. So why would I let it stop me? Granted, it's there, but how often do you get moves from the bottom to the top that don't go through a bunch of this? Now you might get a lot of, rejections, retracements, some bounces and stuff. But in my mind, I know that to get from here to here, I have to go through all that. So we might get a chance to see it right here. If I can get on my screen, get my orders. What I don't like is if it's wicky on the top. So if it's more than, if the candle's a third wick or so, third to a half, that's sometimes where I'll hesitate. I want to see a big push and then a bullish top and then an immediate candle that maybe wicks down a little to create the fair value gap and then takes off. So 11 seconds. It's definitely displacement. Now this was supposed to be this lit candle. Okay, let's stretch it out a little bit. So now we got to wait for this one to form or come down here. And what I've done before is jump early and get in right here. Yeah, this is the move. I would get in too soon, not let it come back. And since I got in way up here, then my 5-point target was way up here. Whereas if I let it retrace into the fair value gap, my 5-point target would have been somewhere where it actually got hit. And I missed out on, I lost the trade. So we'll take this if we get a chance. This isn't terrible. It did push right up through this first one though. 16s. Now that's not good there, but let's see what it does. Four, two, one. Man, that makes me hesitate.
Order filled.
Whoops, sorry. Alright, so 94. I can get exactly where I want to be.
Order working.
I'm going to switch to 20. Make a partial. Right here.
Order working. Order working.
And I'll make this MES so you can see it. Alright. So I was able to get down here with my 5 points. It's kind of early. It's 140, but we'll see. 94.50. Trying to put my stop. That would be 4 points right there. And I'm happy with that between these two fair value gaps. So I'd take my partial a little bit less if I get a chance. And then adjust this as I see fit. So here's a good example. Everything is completely automatic. I only have this on my ES, but so we're done. Everything's in. It's all about the trade now. It's about the market. It's not about me. Mark did everything Mark could do. So I'll either win this or I'll celebrate the fact that, you know, I executed my plan. I was patient. I waited through all the, you know, saw what I needed to see and didn't hesitate. So that's, for me, that's all those things add up to, you know, that's what I want to do. I could lose this trade 5 times and all I could say is, you know, the trade didn't work. Mark did what Mark was supposed to do. And we've had enough of a down, you know, there's been enough fake bottoms here that kind of gives me confidence that this might push up a little bit. We're still under that monthly low. So if we can get above this fair value gap, that'd be really positive. We're way above the mean threshold already. We've closed above that. So even if it falls back a little bit, we've at least got that close over the middle. And if it's going to be a good push, then we expect this fair value gap to be respected. BOS right now to go long on ES. Where would you need to see structure break? Right there. That was, I think I needed this line broke. So to me, that was enough structure break. I have a long limit at 43.92.5, 43.92.5. You got in earlier than I did. And it wouldn't have been terrible to wait on this to come back. I expect it to come back. I expect it to come back a bit. I mean, it often does. So there's nothing about this that could bother me because I've seen it come back to here and still win. So like I said, it's really just automatic from here. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing I need to do until my partial gets hit. So whereas a lot of times this used to be the most stressful part of the trade for me, now um, it's okay. You know, it's mapped out in my mind. I'm prepared for either way. I'm not going to lose more than I plan on losing. I'm okay with that. That's my standard. So there's nothing about this that would make me say, "Oh, you should have did this," or "Oh, you could have done that." And I think that's huge. I really think that's huge to get all that second guessing and doubting and all that out of the process, because then that allows you to just focus on management and whatever. Would I like there to not be another fair value gap between my partial? Yeah, but there's liquidity there. I've got my, if it goes to the fair value gap, most likely, that's a pretty small one. So it could come down. I like to fib the leg that I'm in, so I know to expect a retracement down into this area. It needs to happen. And that's another part of, I guess, kind of having it mapped out and understanding, because I used to get all paranoid. I'd be paranoid here. I'm like, oh, it's coming against me. No, it's just coming back into discount, and then it's going to rip. So there's no part of this that's going to make me feel any kind of way. If it gets below 21%, then that's why my stop is here. This doesn't feel like a protected low as far as, yeah, I wouldn't call that a protected low, but it could be the lowest low. So still got an hour and 15 minutes, which is a lot of time. I would have liked this to happen in the last hour. I'd have felt better about it, honestly, because there was really enough time for it to dip, come take me out, and then make the push. So I don't think time's in my favor right now. Oh, you're in short, Squanto? Yeah, I mean, that's a good short too if you believe it's going to continue down, But since I got the criteria I need to go up, um, I have to just take it. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Maybe I'm reading that wrong. Oh, that's your fib. I thought it was the position tool with the red on the top and the green at the bottom. I see now you got the different colors in there. So I probably should have at least looked to see here what we're looking at. So this is good. We're coming out of the daily fair value gap. That's positive. Not much else support other than just being at the very low that we've been in a while. Consequent encroachment here. Fair value gap here. So we've got all the higher time frame support for this push. Now it's just up to Mr. Market Maker. So the next test will be, do we close below this 9 seconds? If we do, that's not terrible, but it's not great. I'd rather see it pull back up. Oh, so close. One tick. This is OTE area here. So this is fine. Retrace down to here. It could even wick through this. Still no reason to feel any kind of way about it. Since it's what we planned for, right? When we're getting into the position, this is really a good place to add, to be honest. When we're getting into
Yeah, I
the
have two
long,
entries.
we would wait for the same thing. We'd wait for this dip into discount. So this is it's the same methodology. We're just in a different position. We're not waiting for a long. We're in the long, but it's coming back to where we want it to be for a long. If that makes sense. If we can break this, we don't want a fair value gap against this. Not this early. We got a small one. So the more it does this, starts going sideways a lot. Because what happens is if it starts making swings here, then it's creating liquidity, and then that makes me feel like it has to come dip to take that liquidity. And then if it's already down here, it's not that big of a stretch to come down here and get that. Yeah, I'm only targeting 4 handles, but just I've already had a nice day, so I'm not going to get greedy with it. So I like the rejection off the 38. Is that the 38? Yeah. So this is still an OTE. Is pump in here? Oh no. We'll get to test that theory here in a minute. If it gets down here within a tick or so. Who was that I was talking to earlier? JP? Did he leave?
Yeah, yeah, it was
So,
me. Yeah, can you hear me?
so this is just wait and see. I don't care for when it goes sideways like this. I'd rather see it push, but with the time we have left, not surprising. And this could be one of those times when, it just hits a macro. It's 150 and just, rips. There's always that anticipation that you're going to catch that move. So, viewing from DR perspective, rules become ingrained in me to find longs on a yes today to mitigate that. I'm doing long on NQ and shorts on a yes. NQ has been stronger during the move down. Yeah, eventually I need to get NQ worked in. I looked at it earlier and it was plainer. I mean, no doubt. Here we go. Ah, come on. You can do it. You can do it. So for me, just leaving my stop here is like a victory. There were a lot of times I would have had it pulled down another 3 points. And, you know, sometimes you'll win, but sometimes that 3 points leads to 6 points, to 8 points, because you're just sure it's about to turn around. So I can't touch it. If I touch it, then I have something to regret. Then I have something to feel bad about. Then I risk losing, you know, way more than I had set my mind to be comfortable with losing. So if you can get to where you can let it just come down here and do its thing, you know, that's sort of a, you know, it's a moral victory, or not a moral victory, but a procedural victory. And it's not something I have to go back and try to figure out why I did that. It's just, I'm right where I want it to be. So this is what I would call losing better. If I do lose this, when I try to show you what I do to win, I think this is more important, is how I handle losing and how I control that. Because like I said, the winning isn't going to be your problem. The winning will not cause you problems unless you get overconfident and just start YOLO and stuff. But it's these trades right here, how you respond to it, how you manage it, how you, you know, maintain your discipline, so that when it's over, no matter if it's a win or a loss, you don't doubt your abilities as a trader. You don't start getting doubts. You don't start, you know, because that stuff snowballs. That snowballs into all kinds of irrational behavior, lost mental energy. You know, it's just, it's not good. So if you haven't read that book yet, Best Loser Wins, it's in the resource section. I think I got the short version in there. And he talks about trying to be like, he would be honored with the title of one of the best 20 losers. So I thought about that, and I was like, yeah, that's right. Because that's probably the guy that's going to, you know, take the next trade according to his setup. And he's going to stick with high probability. And he's not going to do nothing stupid. Yeah, exactly, Boyle. And today I'm playing with their money, so it's kind of like, even if I get stopped out, I'll be real close to my daily goal. So it's a completely no stress trade, since I had such a good London. I can't call it. I've had it come down here too many times. It's made a quadruple bottom, so I expect to get stopped out here. There's too much liquidity there. Yeah, it's raw emotion, all right. I mean, just telling it like it is, and I'm telling you guys exactly what I wish I could have heard, right? When I started trading, this is the stuff I needed to know, you know, all of this. I thought it was just buy, sell. Hey, what's up, Kraken? Hey, I need my Kraken song.
How's it going, buddy?
The Kraken.
Yeah.
I thought I uploaded that, but
What's going on, man?
oh, I don't know why I'm not hearing my volume. Oh, okay, there we go. Why didn't my golf clap work? Oh, there we go. All right.
Perfect. Did you catch the silver bullet earlier? PM session?
I caught a good trade, but I took a retracement down to the monthly low. So it bounced around down there and then went up into OTE, and I caught it on the way back down.
Was that in London?
No, that was the trade in London.
Yeah.
That
But you
one,
caught this
No,
session.
I'm talking
Did
about
you
New
take
York.
the PM
No,
the
well,
PM the New York lunch down?
No, I didn't trade during lunch. I just took this silver bullet right here.
Oh, this one right here.
Yeah, so it's not giving me a lot of hope right now, but yeah, I was waiting a long time for this to get down by this monthly low, and it got really
So if you-
close, and then it went up into OTE, and I just took a short, and it, you know, obviously it's going to come back down with that much liquidity down there.
I took my first official trade on Apex just now using the Kraken indicator.
Oh, did you?
It's not done. It's not. We're going back and forth on the PO3 Power 3 part. It is all jacked, and I hopped on here, and then I had to hop off because I had to go back on a Zoom with the developer. But I took the trade off that because it took the New York lunch highs,
Yeah.
and then the low is down there, and I'm like, well, shoot, I'm targeting the lows. So I just took like right with the 2 o'clock.
Stop filled.
Yeah, took that down to the thing, got 9.5 handles, and
There you
done.
go.
And
Nice.
I like having those. It's like you can do the either normal silver bullet, or you can use the one session, all right, one trade setup for life ICT video,
Yeah.
where it's all about the session highs and lows.
Yeah. Yeah. And lunch.
So the indicator will allow you to do both. It's going to be great
Awesome.
if I can just get them to finish it.
All right. Well, I think I'm done. So I'm not gonna go red today. If I was a little bit closer to that last 15-minute push, I might think about hanging around, but I don't know. So what happened? Let's look at the trade. The initial, I would have liked for the first candle to be the one that breaks structure. That's usually the best displacement. So if I could have done anything different, but there was a volume imbalance here or gap imbalance. So that kind of, that's bullish for sure. Anything else? I got everything I wanted. I was telling them that, we differ a little bit on where we'll take our swings. I usually will take the anything. I'm a swing slut. Whatever swing I can get here, I'm going to take it on a market structure break. But then again, it makes it a little bit lower probability. So it's lower probability, more trades, I guess. We'll see what it does. Hourly liquidity at 43.86 and daily liquidity at 43.76. Well, I have to stretch that way out. Maybe easier on this one. Yeah. And also, I didn't take that really in any higher time frame stuff. So bad on me, because that's a rule. Yeah, I got caught slipping on that one. That's right. Liquidity raid into higher time frame PDA. So that's, that'll go in my journal. I think just because it was so low, I was using the previous month low liquidity sweep as being sufficient. The problem with that is it's subjective. What's sufficient for me and what's sufficient for the market might be two different things. I felt like this was sufficient, but with nothing to bounce off of, really. I guess we did have a little bit here, and I think on it was consequent encroachment, so that's not as solid. On the week and the month, yeah, but when you're trading on the minute time frame, you really need something in here to be supporting that long, and I didn't have that. So that's encouraging. That's a reason for me to focus on that and raise my probabilities by making sure. I guess when I get in this situation, I have to just decide: do I want to go a little riskier or do I want to wait? Because I didn't anticipate it coming down into these probably, or down this far. But this may very well be where it turns around. It's not just going to turn around for no reason, generally. Does that make sense? So far, a good signature for TGIF setup on ES. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely within reach. I use Trade OTE for my cash account, and then I also use their platform for Apex Dragon. Wow, look at that. Does it push up here? Not really. So I would have needed a body close solid above this swing. I don't take the wick. I don't. They don't work out as well for me. Yeah, ticks, exactly. I mean, a one tick body close above it, I'd have still been kind of like, meh, not thrilled, but that's definitely displacement though. I mean, we'll pay attention to it. If it comes all the way back down in here and gives us some more, that might be a good opportunity. Um, I'm in. If I get in, I'll get in at half size. I'm gonna stay green, even if it's a little green. So, like I was saying earlier, I haven't been around paying attention to monthly lows before. In my mind, it was just like any level of liquidity, you know. But maybe the time frame has its own characteristic for how it's handled. Maybe the monthly, it's going to give you more of a fake, more pushes, more lower lows than say a daily or an hourly or a 4 hourly. You know, I had never even thought to really backtest that or collect any data on it, but it would be worth it for me to know that when I get close to a monthly level, here's what I can expect that's different. And then that would alter my plan for trading those levels, What if, 8 out of 10 times it gives you a couple fakes that are substantial, or even 6, 5, it doesn't have to be a lot. If you can get a little edge on something, and then every time I get around this level, I apply that edge, then that's how you sort of raise your probabilities for specific setups, I guess. And I would backtest anything. I mean, some of the stuff I came up with to backtest, it doesn't even make sense to me now. But I was looking for something, thought I saw something. And it's a good exercise, if nothing else. Just going through the charts and absorbing this stuff. So that's why I guess this was not substantial enough for me. I mean, there was display. You could call that displacement. You got a fair value gap. You got a liquidity purge. But just this, for some reason, this is a reason now for me to go short. I see this happening more than it winning when and it's to the tick. I mean, it well, it was one tick below for a body close, but it didn't even clear that. It did clear. It didn't really clear a swing if you think about it. I'm on the 1 minute. Yep. So it would have needed to go another tick to cover that swing. And if this is like they say, and it's algorithmic, then that means something. That's a no-go zone. It's some sort of a signal because like I said, I've adapted that into my process because it happens enough to where I'm not comfortable. I'm going to be comfortable taking the trade. And that's what you got to do is find those little bits and pieces of things, put them together according to what works, for you, what you've tested, what you're comfortable with, so that when you get into the trade, you know exactly that you either were supposed to be in it or you weren't supposed to be in it. And then if you weren't, figure out why and work on that. Progress, not perfection. Now, what did I see on mine that I didn't like? Oh yeah, I wanted this to be one candle. If this would have been over here with one push up, it's higher probability. If it's a multi-candle issue, I think that was something I had in my back testing was the market structure shift to single candle or multiple candles. I want to make sure I'm not making that up. Yes, I'm not making it up. Market structure shift candle. Was it a single candle or multiple candles? This is a bad example because for that month it did really well, but that was something I was tracking to know if I had this scenario where my market structure shift was two big displacement candles, did I have better odds if it was just a single one? Which, when it's a single one, I know it's better odds, but I wanted to know if it was worth passing on or, I didn't get enough information. And then I moved on to something else, which that's kind of how it goes sometimes. So I feel like I'm 1-for-1 in New York. That 30-second trade, that was a spur of the moment. Hey, let's try this. That's the first time I've tried to take that setup, and it's like I'm live in front of I don't know how many people. But I mean, it worked. That's what's so funny is it worked. And I followed all the rules, but the one about the stop loss. He said give it 12 handles, and I was like, the hell you say? I'm not giving anything 12 handles, especially on a 30-second clock. But it didn't even need that. I think if I'd have given it my 5, I was playing it really, really tight. I was playing it tighter than I would just a normal trade. It was like I was holding it to one fair value gap you can't violate. Instead of giving it a little room, giving it a swing or two, with the points that I had. If I'd have done that, I'd have had a killer win. So this is really helpful. I'm pretty deep in my Top Step account, but I'm so new. I'd rather learn now and win later and keep winning. Yeah, it's a great community. There's maturity that I don't see in other trading communities. Thanks, Jesse. Yeah, we're trying to do things different. I mean, and be more about helping people and just getting the kind of information new and struggling traders need, rather than having to try to parse through everything on the internet. Believe me, I know how that goes. I ended up on so many 95% success rate videos and I'd get in that rabbit hole, and next thing you know, I got a whole new set of indicators and I'm up 18 hours with coffee, and I'm like, well, maybe this will work if it's 95%. He wouldn't lie to me, but such is life.
I'm pretty sure every trader that's been doing it for a while has spent a ton of money on courses and indicators and
Yeah, I mean, you're trying
groups
to
and all that stuff, trying to get that edge that you can't buy the time of learning this stuff
Right.
live, right?
Right.
And that's what we're trying to do. You can learn it. You can shortcut it for sure. That's what we're trying to do in the group. But you can only shortcut it so much and only retain so much. You can watch 10 hours of ICT videos. You're only going to retain like an hour of it.
Yep.
And let's be honest, of 10 hours of ICT videos, he's probably only got about 2.5 hours of good content in there anyway.
Right.
The rest of it, you got to kind of sort through. So,
Yep. That's
you know.
true. And that's what I put in the welcome messages. We're not trying to get people around it. We're just trying to kind of help you through it. If you'll put in the work and do the work, then there's somebody, there's people here that can help you out with those simple questions that I had. I mean, I'm just now figuring out order blocks and breaker blocks because I saw these different examples and conflicting information. And is it the wick? Is it the body? And I needed someone to say, hey, right here, check this out, and either point me to the really good information that they've gathered through experience, or tell me themselves. I have people hitting me up with charts and stuff, helping me out in DMs and stuff. I'm learning as much as y'all are, really. This has been great for me because a lot of you are better traders than I am, and I get to pick your brains. So, you know, I've gotten a lot of value out of putting this thing together.
Hey, we're over 1K people in here, so there's a lot of good people in here. That
Yeah, right.
a lot
I
of good
saw
group
that.
that wants to learn and help each other out. It's just gonna keep growing and be good for everyone.
We got to fix the streaming thing because it said they were getting locked out, and I know there wasn't 150. There's 150 seats. You know, we got that through the boost for level 2, I think.
Okay.
So I never did count them, but I scrolled it on my screen and I videoed it so I could go back and count. But it didn't look like 150. So if they're only letting in so many, then that's not good.
Yeah, I have no idea how all that works.
I don't either. I'm hoping Phil will look into it. Our resident server manager by default, because he
Yeah.
had time and I didn't.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks, Mark, for chatting for a little bit. I
Yep.
gotta go run.
Glad you came by. We'll see you.
Yeah.
So he's a really cool guy. We met through, it might have been the DR Academy or Twitter. I think he was in there for a little while. Anyway, he saw my name marked from Omaha, and he lives in Omaha. So we've hooked up a few times, and you know, met at DJ's dugout and brought our laptops out there and talked trading, and which is kind of cool because I don't have anybody in my circle that gives two flips about this stuff, and it sounds like he's, you know, kind of in a similar boat. So when you get someone you can talk to that's carry on a conversation about it and sort of just, you know, talk shop, it was fun. So he was the first one I tried to prompt to get over here when I opened this Discord, and I, you know, started putting his videos up and stuff, and he checked it out, and here we are. And I know probably more than half of you are here for the indicator, but that's fine. I mean, that's what we, you know, we're trying to just, you know, my thing in the title of the Discord is something like providing premium level education, you know, trading education for free. And that's kind of what we think this is, you know, this is stuff that is very useful for people who are trying to learn, and to have it available, we're hoping just gets people off to sort of a fast start. I'm new here. Where's the info and indicator? Kraken indicator. Kraken Silver Bullet indicator channel, or there's a thread somewhere. There you are, Phil. Did you hear my conundrum? Or I guess it's more of a quandary. Yeah, no, I mean, how do you tell how many people are in? Did you just physically count them, or does it give you a ticker somewhere? It's listed at the top. Okay, well, not for me. So I don't have anything. Where do I point my mouse? Right, middle, left? Listed at the top. I still don't see it. Spectators, 26. Okay. So where's your little thing that says spectators? I don't even see anything that says spectators. Oh, you're on the app. Okay. Oh, well. All right, so we came a long way, you know. I should have been also looking at the trend on the hourly to see where we were in pullback. Yeah, I mean, it was ready for a pullback. That was a good amount. Maybe not right here. I guess, yeah. There's a few things I could have looked at differently that might have, if I really tightened my criteria down. But I'm not ready to make a bunch of changes over one loss. So that's kind of the way I approach it. I would like to see, the couple things that I talked about, that candle. And I'll file that away, just, whether that means I use a different risk management or maybe wait for the retrace, catch the failed swing. There's a couple different ways I can approach it when I get that type of situation that I had right here. I could have taken the lower fair value gap, minimized my risk. I think I jumped in pretty much right away. And that would have been good. And I've done that before. In fact, that was something I had started doing when there was two fair value gaps like this. I was waiting for it to dip into the second one. I don't know why I got away from that. I think I was just excited, and that isn't something I ran into since then. So the 5 minute on ES had good displacement with fair value gap to the downside for 10 points. Right on. Yeah, there were definitely shorts to be taken, and again, I've been caught saying, well, the market can't do this or the market can't do that. Well, yeah, it certainly can. And this should have been on the 5 minute. Well, wait a minute. No, that was at 1425. And this was at 1438. So yeah, this was also a more solid market structure shift by far than what I had on the 1 minute over here, right? So this 5 minute market structure shift, this was the play right here, the 5 minute fair value gap, or the 5 minute reverse silver bullet, or trend trade, right? The advanced one. It's the reverse criteria, market structure shift, fair value gap, displacement, and you go with the trend. So I've got to get flexible, this is something I should have been paying attention to. I saw the lit up candle over here, and with this indicator, that means it's a higher volume candle, so it's less likely to be faked out. Other market shift candles are marked, but they're not highlighted. So this is a high volume candle, which means it's a more substantial indicator. And since I don't use volume, indicators, then this is handy. And what the market wants to do is to make you hesitate. So everybody that went long here got smoked. Everybody that went long here got smoked. Eventually, people are going to lose their appetite for longs, and then the market can take off and not carry as many people with it. Again, I try to think like the market makers. If I could program this and write the code, that's what I would do, right? I know I want to get down here and get a big move, but I don't want you knuckleheads jumping in and getting all the funds, right? So I need to make sure as few of you as possible take that move when it's time. Because I don't want you making money. I want you losing money. All right, so we're getting close to the last 15 minutes of the session. Usually what I try to do is look for, what I consider the obvious draw on liquidity. The market is very curious to see what's beyond the obvious levels. Yeah, that's a great way to say it. Yep. I would say it's definitely going to be to collect this liquidity right here. So I will set myself up. I didn't even cancel my orders from that last trade, my stop and my targets. Wow. That's how you screw stuff up. Now they're canceled. So on the minute time frame, when it gets to 245, if we have a good draw on liquidity, we anticipate a energetic move. Like this is a great level to target right here. It's not necessarily going to make new highs or anything when it's this low, but it will go collect a bunch of this. And when it does, if you know what to look for down here, you can get in pretty tight. if it gives you that opportunity, because there's going to be a stop hunt, and when you see the stop hunt, well, I'm gonna say me. I wouldn't recommend this, but when I see the stop hunt, I buy as close as I can to where I think the bottom is going to be. I try to get in, and then put my stop just a little bit below that, and it gives me a good deep stop loss and profit because I'm in really close. So I have to be watching real careful. You can't see the Trade OTE screen, but it moves differently than Trading View when this happens. So I usually get a good signal because it really starts acting crazy, and there's a lot of feedback on the Trade OTE. It moves, I don't know, 4 or 5 times faster than what this is. This is over here moving, back and forth at a better clip. Well, we're in some mess right here, but normally this will give me a lot better feedback than Trading View. I guess because it's a direct connection, I don't know. So we've already taken this way. Before we could go up, that stop hunt would be perfect to come down here and tag this. And then that would sweep both sides, and then it could just rip. Yeah, exactly. The price action leaves breadcrumbs like Tale of Hansel and Gretel. I agree. And it's really just a silver bullet with a wicked stop hunt is all it is. Because it still does the same thing. It rips up here somewhere and gives you a nice fair value gap. You got to take the first one because if it's in the last few minutes, it's got to cover this much space pretty quick, and it does. And I've seen it make ridiculous moves, but I would start with probably right here at 92. Yeah, if I get 7 points, yeah, why not? And depending on how much time and how it's moving, I have added to that before and just made a killing. I think my best trade, single trade ever, maybe second best, came on one of these moves. It was $12,000 with micros on a eval account. So 1,200 on each of 10 accounts. And I know that because I was $2,000 in the hole when I took the trade, and I ended up 10 grand to the positive. So, is that over trading? I don't know. I mean, if I see the right setup, take it easy, Cloud. If I see the right setup, I don't feel like I'm over trading. So it's when I start doing stuff that's stupid and that I'm not used to doing, or revenge trading or chasing. This is something that I kind of plan for. The stop hunt, how do I know when it's over? Well, a good one just wicks down really far and then pops back up, and then that's it. You'll know right away. It either turns green and starts ripping the other way, or it'll get lethargic and maybe start turning around. If I see that, then I just get out because I'm way down here at the bottom anyway. It has to come back to me. If I catch it right, I'm in profit right away. But I gotta have my finger like on the button, which I do. It's still kind of early though. We still got like 15 minutes. Yeah, I just hit the button when I see the stop hunt. You'll just have to see it, and I don't know if you'll get the full visual on. Well, you know what? I will put this screen over here so you can see. And then I can just buy. So my level's right there. So I'm going to make my orders ahead of time since I'm going to be going long. This is going to be a sell.
Order working.
Sorry about that. And then I'm not going to make a stop yet because I don't know how far it's going to punch. I don't want to give this like 10 handles and get wicked into. So it's sort of a manual thing. If I buy, then the next thing I would do is go create my stop. I've already got my target up there. So I would just hit the buy button, market order, and then immediately create another sell order under it and push it where I want it to be, and then ride it up if it goes in my way. And I usually like to come down a couple ticks, because a lot of times it will get up here and hesitate and stall and cause people to get in heavy and then turn around on them. I've been caught doing that before. As it got up close to my level, I'd start adding, thinking it had to go above that, and it stops 2 ticks below and turns around and rips against me. So little things like that I've just picked up, I've adapted and added, like the 1 tick on the fair value gap. That's made me money for sure. This has helped me save losses, because I'll just get tagged out right here and then it'll turn around. Not always, but enough to make an impression on me. So the farther it goes, and this isn't guaranteed. I always talk it up on the way, but a lot of times it just fizzles out to the side. So it's really a be patient and wait. When it shows up, it's worth it. When it doesn't, I didn't lose anything. And when it has showed up, I've had a pretty good strike rate on it. I can't remember the last time I lost one of those, but I don't get them that often, so I'm only able to trade this time of day a couple times a week if I'm lucky. Well, the stop will be, if it is a stop hunt, then my stop will be 2 ticks below it. And you'll see it. I mean, it'll be bigger than anything here. Just the wick will be bigger than any of this. It'll pop down and it'll pop back up and it'll kind of hesitate, and then it starts motoring on up. And pretty quick, if it breaks, breaks the structure and then gives you a fair value gap, a little one, I could wait and get it there, and it'd be higher probability if I waited for the fair value gap. But I feel like my risk is so small when I'm way down here by the bottom of the wick anyway. It's like a point, point of risk if I catch right for a, however many points it goes. But that's all I would take right now. I wouldn't take a regular silver bullet type trade with just a break of structure and a fair value gap. There's not enough time left for it to. If it's going to do what I want, it's going to do it the way that I'm talking about. A normal silver bullet entry right here, I wouldn't feel great about with only 30 minutes left. And I don't trade past 3, just because it seems like the volume dies off most of the time. Sometimes it'll trade on a little bit, but for the most part, it kind of stops in its tracks right then. I don't want to be hoping for something that goes sideways for the next 40 minutes. It's just not worth the mental capital. Are you ready, Crystal? I gotta turn Crystal back up. Oh no. Yeah, you're up.
I don't know about today. We'll see.
Yeah, this is the yeehaw trade right here. The only thing is there's not, the only liquidity they're going to trap is, well, somebody said there was liquidity at, that was Greg, 43.86 and 43.76. So there's liquidity right here. At 76, we just touched it. So maybe a couple fakes this way and then a pow. Finger on the buy button. That's actually setting up good. Still got too much time though. 12 minutes before we even get there. Yeah, it's too early. I mean, it can happen in the last 30 minutes, but it's really a last 15-minute statistical thing. So, but it can stop here. It can consolidate. It can set up liquidity, and then punch through that. It doesn't necessarily have to reverse right here. Yeah, I just tapped it, right? So that's solid, and I'd be surprised if it doesn't come back. We're trying to be. I asked for volunteers to help me. I do it on Thursday and Friday, and maybe once in a while on a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, but for the most part, I'm in both sessions on Thursday and Friday. Oh, thanks, Alex. Appreciate it. It's only going to get better. The more of you step up to help and fill these gaps in with live streaming and educational stuff. No, I don't think that wasn't the stop hunt, Todd. It'll be a lot more violent than that. But it's setting up for it. If it consolidates here a little bit, then the stop hunt would be perfectly placed to collect the liquidity it's building right now. So I'd love to see it go sideways here for about 10 minutes. If it takes off, it's just going to probably leave me. Although, with 25 minutes, I don't know. I could easily get 5 points in 25 minutes. But I kind of got my heart set on, looking for one thing. I've already taken my loss today, and I don't want to, go against the strong trend unless I see a really strong signal. And even when I seed it, I've seen it fake before as well. So again, nothing is ever going to be 100%. It just won't be. Because if it was 100%, I could load up 10 minis every time it happens on 10 accounts and trade twice a year. That's the kind of trade that would be. And somebody would have figured it out long before me. So, and maybe it used to be. Maybe that used to be a really high strike rate, a big hitter against the market, and they toned it down, just made it so it wasn't as sure of a thing. Because that 43.76 level is there, this is probably all fake right here. And it's coming into a minute fair value gap. I'm tempted to short it. It's already in the OTE just about. It wouldn't be a terrible trade. Anytime you've got substantial liquidity underneath you, here's the best places to take your reversals. Because we know it's going back. 90% of the time it goes back. So, 10% of the time you might be wrong, but yeah, I know, Greg. I was talking about that earlier. There's no guarantee, and sometimes, Friday's another day. It's going to do a whole lot of the same thing. So, but we're ready for it either way. I say we're ready, but my finger's not on the button. So I was up 200 and something earlier, but that last one, the 30-second trade that I took, and then that last one brought me down to 75. So, but the way I look at it, across 10 accounts, just that enough, on a regular basis, that's quit my job money. So, and trust me, if this would have been for my job, for like my living, I would have already been out of the market, and I'd have been trading on my cash account with a couple micros, just to kind of still show you guys what's going on. But I wouldn't risk any serious money if I'd already made it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? If I was having to pay the bills with it. That's why it's so important to keep your job, as long as you can. I'm giving myself 2 more years before I feel like, I'd be ready, and that's with some steps and some plans, as far as what I need to see in my finances and in my bills, and my cushion before I could consider giving up my job. Because I got a good job. I mean, it pays for all this crap. But if I had to trade for everything, I know that's another level of anxiety. And that's why it's so important that I get these steps down before I get to that point. Because if I have to fight anxiety and all that, Yeah, Phil, that's what my sister does. She's got her own business that does really well, but she still works part-time, working with animals. She loves her job. It's just what she wants to do. She doesn't have to do it, but her work is seasonal, so she works a couple months out of the year and then does that. So 5 more minutes. A little bit more consolidation would be great. Yeah, I don't love what I'm doing, but it's a good job. And I didn't hate it. I mean, I didn't feel as bad about it until I started trading. Now every time I come home and I see the moves that I probably would have caught, I'm thinking, you know what, that would have made me a week's pay, and it's kind of frustrating day after day to see that. And then when I get into the market, I'm like, really, feel like I'm got left behind. And that's another reason why the rules and the mechanical approach are so important, because otherwise the only thing standing between me and tilt is my emotions. I want to trade, I want to make up everything I lost for the week. I missed that trade on Tuesday. I slept through that trade on Monday. I couldn't catch that trade Wednesday because I was working, and that builds up in me, and I have to fight that. And I've caught myself thinking, you should just find a way to, pull your 401k or something and just go all in, bet on you. And then I wake up and I'm like, yeah, but I got a house payment. I can bet on me all I want, but if I'm wrong, that's too much to risk. And this is all about risk management. So 2-year plan, pay off some bills, have a cushion, 20 accounts locked and loaded. Hey, you bet, Todd. And the pace that I'm trading at right now is geared towards that. Is geared towards what I need to make using 20 accounts in order to get timely payouts and make a lot of money. I mean, I've lost over half of what I had today, and with 20 accounts, I'd still be at $1,500 for today. So I was at, this is about a third of what I had, so it would have been nearly a $5,000 day, and I could have quit at like lunch. I like Apex just because I can get the 20 accounts. If it wasn't for that, if they didn't have the 20 accounts, I'd find somewhere that has an end-of-day drawdown instead. But I'm finding that I'm able to do okay as long as I, stay on top of my stuff. Yeah, I heard they're paying fine. They went to ACH bank transfers. 20 accounts, if you get them while they're on sale, under $800. They're 37 a piece, so 740. Yeah, I know. Yeah, 50Ks, yeah, 20 50Ks, 37 bucks a piece. If you can get the 90% off, you can get them for like 18. But, I'm still waiting on my other 10, so I'm not in a rush. If maybe they have a Thanksgiving sale, or I don't know if I'll make it that long, but it kind of depends on how well I do on on the target. When I get to halfway, I'll see where I'm at. And then probably pick up the next sale after that. But the way I look at it is that $400 or $800 is going to carry me for weeks of trading. And at the end of the day, all I can lose is that $400 or $800. Whereas 20 accounts times $2,500 in drawdown, for me to lose, I would have had to lose $50,000 of my own money. Evals, that's what the evals cost. The funded are 160. Once you get funded, it's 160 per account as a lifetime fee. So $800 a month while you're doing the eval, and then a $3,200 pop once you pass. Luckily, I only passed on 10 before, so I only put in 1,600. Not that that didn't suck, but it could have sucked another $1,600 worth. Yeah, I know, Phil. I know. You know, I started with 5, then I went to 7, and all I could think about was the multiplication. I was like, if I have 5 accounts, I need this many points. If I have 10 accounts, nothing is changes, but I just need half as many points. I do the same work, I do the same analysis, I do the same execution, I follow the same rules. And then if I can double that again with 20 accounts, and still nothing changes, you know? So, except now I only need a quarter as much to make the same amount of money. So with 20 accounts, 5 points a week is $5,000. So one 5-handle trade is $5 grand. That's all you need. You know how patient you can be if you know you just need one. The displacement I would wait for would be just like ICT said, the elephant falling into the kiddie pool. I wouldn't take anything but that, and I wouldn't need to. You know, one trade a week, $5 grand, that's $250,000 a year on one trade. So to me, it's worth the whatever I got to go through to get to that level. That's my target. That's what I want to do. And that's just with one contract, right? So say you get a little cushion, and then you go to 2 contracts, and you know, take one as a partial, leave one as a runner, and start collecting some, you know, bigger moves. And the sky's just the limit. It just really is. You know, this is it. All right, so now we're in go land. Last 15 minutes of the session. Beautiful opportunity for a big stop hunt, big wicked stop hunt right here, down to here somewhere, and then a push. And I mean a push. If it flies right up here, I'm going to be moving this thing up because I don't have a partial or anything. So, but I could definitely see it climbing this. That's 82 to a little over 20 points. That's nothing. Not when you look at the the range, right? Just to get to here, that'd be pretty substantial. But like I said, it's happened. Will it happen today? I don't know. I'm holding my breath though. Look at that, it stopped. It's winding up. I shouldn't do this because then I think last time it was a, it was one of those when we waited it out. I had it all hyped up. I shouldn't do that to y'all because I don't know what it's going to do. But that's what I go through every time of day at this time of day. This is my build up. This is my, I look for every way for this to happen and work. Yeah, somebody pointed it to me and asked me if I took it, and I was distracted doing something. I might have been, I don't remember if I was in a stream. I saw it kind of happen, but at the same time I was distracted and didn't take it. I don't know if that's the right one. I can't remember, but somebody did point it out to me, and I was like, yeah, that was it. It was there for the taking. 12 minutes. And for me, this is just another mechanical trade. You know, it's nothing I won't feel bad about if it fails, because when it wins, I mean, I would have to lose 10 of these in a row, you know, to come close to losing what I've already made from a couple of these trades. So it's like the risk reward is ridiculous. If you're adding on the way up, because the confidence you have, every pullback into a fair value gap is another add, and it just rips. Like in a couple 3 candles, it's up here. So I don't know that I'm going to do all that adding today, but if I get in and cop this level right here, I think I'd be call it good. It's a lot of liquidity sitting there. All right, Phil, take it easy. A lot of liquidity on both sides, so. So we're at 74. If it spiked right there and I caught it bad, I'd still have a 5-point stop. But even if I lost, I'd be a few $100s to the good. All right, so let's see. This would be it. Big deep push right here. Gives us 10 minutes, which it can go pretty far in 10 minutes. I'd like to see it closer to like within the last 5 or 6. But I'm going to take it either way if it gives it to me. So go up, get people going long, and then pow. And it's got a double bottom there now too, so it's really looking like a good setup. I'm fine with it taking its time. Like I said, it can cover a lot of ground in 3 or 4 candles, and that's ideal because that means there won't be a lot of, if it does take off, that means it's going straight to the target. There's not going to be consolidation. There's not going to be, you know, there's not going to be a lot of dips. It's going to dip back into the next fair value gap and then take off again. If it does it, that just the closer it is to 3 o'clock, the better. You see how it's moving? It's just a little bit faster. If it starts getting really, I almost had my finger on the sell button. Whoops. If that starts getting more erratic, then that's usually like a precursor to that stop hunt coming. There's just all kinds of liquidity up there. And we never got our, you know, our decent reversal. We poked through that 76 level now. So it's in the right place, it's in the right time, it's in the right market structure. Um, I mean, it doesn't get really any better as far as the conditions. I would expect it to go up before it comes down. Make a good push up and then a smack down. That's just me if I was the market maker. That's what I would do. Because I want everybody going long. You know, everybody's waiting to go long. So give them a push, then give them a stop hunt, take them out, and then go long. And people say, you know, that we're crazy for thinking our stops get targeted. It's not my stop, you know. They don't care about my stop. They care about this area. They care about this zone. So collectively, yes, our stops are getting hunted. It's not individually. Okay, that was a good. Speeding up. Come on. If it doesn't give me the stop hunt, I'll be kind of lost as far as then I won't trust that I'm actually in the move. So yeah, if it takes off, I won't take it unless I get the stop hunt, because it could still take off like a normal silver bullet and cover quite a bit of ground, but that stop hunt is what gives me confidence that it's went as low as it's going to go. And right now, if it did it, all I would see is liquidity here, you know, resting pretty close to where I'm at. So 43.55 and 43.28 for tomorrow will do. Five minutes, plenty of time. 3, 7, or 8 point candles covers that whole ground. And really, that's just like from here to here. I mean, I see that all the time. Not all the time, but definitely get it. It's a perfect setup. Love this right here. If I don't get it, you can bet I'm playing London tonight. So now would be a good time. 3 minutes. Right on. Yeah, Greg's going to be our resident options guru. We definitely really love all the experience. I mean, this is a Discord for, you know, newer, struggling people. We got a lot of people in here that know their stuff. I think they just like the community and, you know, don't want to have to pay money to be around like-minded people who are, you know, pushing for the same goal. So we've attracted a lot of people that are really, really, really good, and that's awesome. If you guys can't get the answers to your questions here, I don't know where you go. I'm thinking about setting up a questions channel too, because I see a lot of questions get asked in chat and they just kind of get buried, you know. So I was thinking, make a questions channel. You can ask them in chat if you want, but if you want a channel that people are looking at and looking to help, and we just keep it to questions, I think that would be, beneficial. 2 minutes. So my target up here is less likely as we get closer to 3 o'clock. Now we're in a minute. Mass volume on the 4350. Right on. Well, this might be a wah wah wah. But like I said, it's it's free to watch for every day, and when you catch it, you're like, heck yeah, makes your day. I mean, if that turns around, that would be a nice wick, but it's not the. Yeah, it's got energy. It just didn't give me the push that I'm used to seeing, the real fast one. So, to me, that's not it. It's 3 o'clock, so it can still do a lot in this last hour, but I don't take them after this period. So, that looks like it was a fake. That didn't have the signature push, bounce back up, and then automatic green candle. So, all right. It is what it is. I'll try it again tomorrow, and any day I'm, at the computer, it's pretty much a no-brainer when it comes. I see Greg still typing, so I'm going to hold up. Hope y'all got something out of this. I think I was 2-1, but all right, Greg, take it easy. Try to do better tomorrow. This is near my daily goal. This is my daily goal on the lead account, but for some reason there's slippage, and I didn't get the same fills, so these are $20 less. All right, boyo. Right on, JJ. Y'all have a great night. Ms. Mania, take care. Right on, Sashiro. You bet, Kuga. I like the silver bullet, Alex. I like the silver bullet, as a bread and butter kind of thing, but other things that appear during the day I'll still take also. But it has to be real strict criteria as far as, discount premium, PD array support, higher time frame stuff. I'm going to go over the silver bullet on Saturday. There's an event, and just kind of go through step by step through some charts and throw some different scenarios. I've got a live trade I'm going to show that's a really good example. No, not on FX Replay, but I spent a lot of time doing it on TradingView and not really using the replay, just sort of a tape reading analysis, like, is liquidity swept? Yes. Is this displacement? Yes. Just to see the criteria line up, and then when it's live, I'm able to spot it pretty much just natively. I recognize it from all the times I've spent looking at it in the charts. The back testing I did for June was just a ridiculous hit rate. I'm almost embarrassed to show it because I don't think people probably believe me, but I put the minute for the candle, I put the day. I don't think they can go back. Well, yeah, you can go back that far on FX Replay on the minute, but It's just an easy model that you don't need a ton of the ICT stuff to make work. You know, it's good to have a bias to kind of guide you, but it doesn't depend on your daily bias being right. There's always 5 points either way, in reversal or what have you. So that's kind of why I mean, I'm a new trader, so it makes sense for me to try to show people what works for new traders, and I feel like this works for me. There's probably plenty of other stuff that's good, but you know, I just kind of gravitated towards this. And I tried all the indicators and other stuff, and I just didn't have the right feeling with it. I didn't feel like I was in control like I do with this. All right, we'll do it again tomorrow. I'll be back 9 o'clock New York. I put it in the events. I'm going to always put the live streams in the events. So if you have any questions on time, you can just go look at the events at the top of the channel up here. And it'll tell you what I'm doing. Or as I can get other people scheduled and get some help, they'll be in here also. Alrighty, I'm out. Have a good night.